Here we go again with this rumor. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things Season 5 video. Today, I'm talking about a hot rumor in the Stranger Things fandom that's been a thing for like a year plus. I made a video about it last May, but it's been about a year since we've heard murmurs of it. It regards the release format of Season 5. I'll elaborate in a second, but before I do, hit that like button, comment down below what format you think the show will release in, meaning all at once or in parts. And of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. I mean, quite a bit. Plus, I got lots of bonus content over on my Patreon. Feel free to go join that community over there. I have a blast and have tons of fun things planned for this summer. But when it comes to Stranger Things Season 5, I'm going to state the obvious. I've said this a billion times. If you guys are returning viewers, you're like, here he goes again. But I gotta make this point every time I bring up Stranger Things. Season 5 does not have a set in stone release date, but we do know for 100% fact that it is dropping in 2025. We just don't know when at the moment. However, in 10 days from today, Netflix's TUDUM event takes place, which is like their Super Bowl, essentially this Netflix Comic-Con where they have tons of presentations from cast of movies and shows. They showcase upcoming projects with trailers, reveals, all that jazz, and Stranger Things Season 5 will be attending TUDUM. You can bet pretty much all your money, don't do that, but you know, I'm not encouraging gambling, but you know, you could bet money, or I would at least, that we're getting that Stranger Things Season 5 first teaser trailer. Likely with that will be the release date and hopefully the format. However, we don't have that. That's 10 days away. So in the meantime, we can still speculate on this, and this will probably be the last time we can speculate on the release format / date of Season 5. Until then, though, it seems a rumor has sprung up or returned about how Season 5 is going to release. To begin with, it is very safe to assume that Stranger Things Season 5 is going to drop in 2 parts. They did it with Season 4, as we got Volume 1 of Season 4 on May 27th, 2022, and then Volume 2 of Season 4 on July 1st, 2022. It's also commonplace for most of the major Netflix shows to do that now. Most recently would be Wednesday Season 2, which comes out in August and September. The season is going to be split into 2 parts. Netflix has kind of gone that way with a lot of their major shows, Outer Banks, Bridgerton. It's just their new format for the most part. So I would bet cold hard cash money that Season 5 is split into 2 parts. But what if I told you Netflix might actually break this season into not 1, not 2, but 3 parts? Well, there's a rumor floating around, emphasis on rumor, that will be the case. According to a Twitter user who's leaked information in the past, they claim that Volume 1 of Stranger Things 5 will drop in October of this year, Volume 2 will drop in November of this year, and Volume 3 will drop sometime in 2026. Now, there is absolutely no validity to this claim. This is not fact. This is all speculation and rumors. I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this if this were to be the case, right? So if this news, these rumors turn out to be true, I'm gonna speculate on it and see what that could look like for the timeline of this season. When it comes to the Season 5 episode count, we have confirmation that there are gonna be 8 episodes, and we have a title for every single one of them. That, of course, released on Stranger Things Day last year. We also know that Season 5 has been described by various cast members and the Duffers themselves as 8 blockbuster movies, making it pretty safe to assume that this will be arguably the largest season, not only in scale, but in episode runtimes. We're talking, I bet the shortest episode is an hour, and the longest could be 2.5 hours or more. So looking at release format, taking this information into account, Netflix could decide to chop up the final season into 3 parts, strictly to capitalize on the Stranger Things name and brand, which would bring the final season of the show all the way into 2026. Next year. At the end of the day, I don't think this would be the Duffers' decision. If this happens, it would definitely be a Netflix call because the Duffers probably wouldn't want that. But if going the 3-part route guarantees that the fans get some of Season 5 in the year 2025 as opposed to none, I think it might be the smart move. They already promised fans a 2025 release date, so to give us part of Season 5 this year as opposed to none and just having all of it drop in 2026 would be better than nothing, I'd say. We know that a major reason that Season 4 was split into 2 parts was because the VFX work wasn't finished for the last 2 episodes and still needed a little bit more time. But they also split that season at a logical breaking point in the story. At the end of Season 4, Episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, there was this huge reveal made and tons of info dumped on us that recontextualized the entirety of Stranger Things, as we found out that Vecna is 01 and he's Henry Creel, right? It was a natural breaking point, a big-time cliffhanger that honestly reminded me of like the mid-season finales from cable TV shows back in the day, where they would have like their fall finale, then they would go off the air for a few months and come back in the spring. That's what it felt like in the best possible way. So if Netflix decides to break this season up into 3 parts, would it be because of the VFX needing more time? I could understand that, and I would actually appreciate that because I want this season to look the best it can. Season 4 looked incredible. They should probably take it up a notch. There's going to be a lot of upside-down lore reveals that are probably going to require some pretty heavy-duty VFX work. Now, if that's the reason for the delay and they come out with a letter and let us know, I'd be okay with that. But if they were just doing it to say, hey, let's stretch this into 3 parts and capitalize on Stranger Things into 2026, that's where I'd be a little frustrated because I have a couple questions about if they go the 3-part route. The first calls back to the point I made in season 4. Would there be natural breakpoints in the season to divide it up into 3 parts? I look at it and I go, it's hard to imagine, but they could have 3 different time periods per season. Like the first part could be right after the aftermath of season 4 and then in the beginning of 1987, then we could go into 88 and 89. But even then, that feels a bit too disconjointed even saying that out loud. I feel like the bulk of this season is going to take place in the fall of 1987 as evidenced through the episode title video that dropped on Stranger Things Day. Follow-up question, how would they divide the episodes up? With it being 8 episodes, would they drop 4 in volume 1 and then 2 in volume 2, 2 in volume 3, or would they do 3 episodes, then 3 episodes, then 2 episodes? Would they do 5, 2, and 1? Who knows? All that would obviously depend on the runtime, but could you imagine having to wait for the final episode of Stranger Things, like a couple months into 2026? That would just be a momentum killer in my opinion. The big question I have is, would this just come off as Netflix blatantly trying to drag out the final season of Stranger Things? Every other popular show as of late has either dropped all at once or had 2 parts with about a month or so in between. The only exception is Cobra Kai, the final season, season 6. We saw them take the final season of that popular show that I love, I've reacted to every episode on the channel, and they split it into 3 parts. The difference is Cobra Kai was 15 episodes, so they had 5 episodes drop in one volume, then 5 in the next, and 5 in the next. It made for an equal division of the episodes. However, the gaps between volumes were a lot larger. We had to wait from July to November, and then November to February. With Stranger Things, those gaps would be shortened, and more like the gap between volume 1 and 2 of season 4. The creators of Cobra Kai also said that was their plan, and that each volume was like its own mini season, which is somewhat true, but I mean, they could have dropped it all at once and I would have been happy as well. So I ask, would this work for season 5 of Stranger Things, having 3 different volumes or, you know, these different breakpoints in the season? And my answer is, I don't think so. Stranger Things is a show that got its start with the first 3 seasons dropping all episodes at once in the binge format. Season 4 went the volume route. For season 5, could you imagine them dropping it in 3 different parts? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Fortunately, I don't think we're going to have to worry about this. I believe this is all just a rumor, and hopefully it all gets cleared up in 10 days at Netflix's TUDUM, but until then, we just have to sit here and speculate because we don't have the answers. Netflix shows dropping in 2 parts is the new norm, and I've come to accept that. I fully anticipate season 5 of Stranger Things will drop in 2 parts, and that'll be announced at TUDUM, likely for October or November this fall. But if they take this season, the final season of the show, and stretch it into 3 parts, extending it all the way into 2026, I don't think I'll be too happy of a camper. But that's just my take on this Stranger Things season 5 rumor about the season potentially dropping in 3 parts. It's crazy that this rumor was around a year ago and now it's kind of sprung up again and is a new topic of conversation. It's wild how long the offseason has been between season 4 and 5, but at the same time it has flown by. And we're almost there, guys. 10 days from now, we're going to be celebrating TUDUM, getting some major Stranger Things news and footage, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. I can't wait. So the patience is paying off. We are so close to getting our first trailer, the teaser trailer that is, and I can't wait. I look forward to it every single day. I have a countdown in my head every day. I'm like, here we go. One day closer to TUDUM, one day closer to season 5 as a whole. But do you guys think season 5 is going to drop all at once in 2 parts or in 3 parts? I know I've talked about this before, so it's a bit, you know, repetitive, but it's come up again, and I felt like we had enough new evidence from Netflix release formats for other popular shows, as well as just discussions about season 5 to kind of get a better understanding of if this rumor has any validity to it or not. But let me know down below your predictions for the release format of this final season. Of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be on the lookout for lots of videos coming soon, especially pertaining to Fear Street. If there are any Fear Street fans here, you're going to want to watch a couple of my upcoming videos. But that'll do it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.